Hey everyone, this video is going to be on Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc is one of those white grapes that has a tendency to be kind of polarizing for people. They either seem to really love it or they don't care for it at all. I happen to be in the love it category. That's why we planted it here. Talking about it today, both the history of the grape and what we do with it at Oak Farm, is winemaker Sierra Zeider and winemaker Chad Joseph. Both of them helped make the wine here. Chad's been with me since the beginning. Sierra came on about 3 years ago and she is now winemaker. I'm director of winemaking. We all put it together, make things work. And so anyway, without any further ado, let's hear what they have to say about Sauvignon Blanc right now.
Hi everyone, I'm Sierra Zeider, one of the winemakers here at Oak Farm, and I'm here today with my favorite mentor, Chad Joseph.
Hello, how's everybody doing? So the Sauvignon Blanc is a wine that we've made at Oak Farm for many years. We've actually planted this grape variety on the vineyard here on our estate. And we've also sourced these grapes from another vineyard that is grown by More Fry Vineyards. It's been one of my favorite white wines to make. We also do Albarino, that's another great one. But the Sauvignon Blanc, Fiano,
yeah.
But the Sauvignon Blanc's got like a real special place in my heart as far as just a great California white varietal that does really well here in Lodi. So
yeah, and this Sauv Blanc is kind of like a New Zealand style. And so it's a very light, crisp style Sauvignon Blanc. Kind of what we do with our Sauv Blanc here is we do it in 2 separate picks, and we also put it directly to the press and keep all the oxygen off of it to try and keep the freshness, keep the crispness in this style of Sauv Blanc that we're making.
So Sauvignon Blanc is really interesting because it's got a long history in California. It's actually one of the most popular white grapes that have been planted. It's number 5 as far as number of acres planted in California. Pinot Grigio has recently moved up past it, but you've got like Chardonnay and then the other 2, French Colombard and Chenin Blanc, which they've used for jug wines in the past. But Sauvignon Blanc has always had a long history of being a prominent white grape in California. So it was brought over to the Livermore Valley in like the 19th century.
Yeah, 1900s.
And I think there's Charles Wetmore was the journalist, amateur winemaker that was responsible for bringing it over from France. And that's where it originates. It originates in the Bordeaux region of France.
And it's planted kind of in Loire Valley as well. They have some Sauv Blanc. Okay. But yeah, originates from Bordeaux. And I think it's mainly blended with Semillon in Bordeaux, but we kind of like the style, the freshness that it gives. So we just do 100% Sauv Blanc.
And I like it because Sauvignon means savage. So it's an indigenous grape. So it's a wild grape that's being grown naturally in Bordeaux. And so people probably started harvesting it, making wine. It turns out to make a really good wine. I think there's another grape, Cabernet Franc, that comes from the Bordeaux region. And so you'll see Sauvignon Blanc was bred with Cabernet Franc, and that's how we ended up with Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of the noble grape varieties that come out of France that are real popular in California. At Oak Farm, I love the way that we get the fruit expression out of the Sauvignon Blanc. The soils here are actually really good for growing it. It's a sandy, loamy soil, and that's the soil we have from the MOKELUMNÉ River. And that's the sub-appellation that our grapes are grown in.
And both the vineyards that we use in this Sauvignon Blanc come from the MOKELUMNÉ River sub-AVA, so same type of soil. I like how complex the aroma is.
What do you get for fruit flavors?
I get a lot of melon, a little bit, it's definitely a higher acidity, and so you're gonna get a little bit of green apple.
Yeah, how do we preserve that fruit when we make the wine? What's the secret with keeping that fruit and not losing it? Because that's what you taste out in the vineyard when you're sampling the grape.
We're not putting this in barrel at all. We're really pressing it and letting it go through fermentation and keeping it cold throughout the entire winemaking process.
I think that's key, keeping it cold.
Yeah.
Cold fermentation. What's our temperature like?
We do about 55-degree fermentation. Kind of heat it up at the end to make sure that we ferment all the sugar out. But I think if you do a hotter fermentation, think about it. If the wine is hotter, it helps aromas blow off. And so the colder you are, it's going to keep those aromas in the glass.
Yeah, for those of you who have never been in a winery before and seen a actively fermenting tank, if you go on top and you look down inside that tank, you actually see the wine boiling like a boiling pot of water that you're making your pasta. And Sierra's exactly right. It's the warmer the temperature is in that fermentation, the faster it boils. And the faster it boils, the more CO2, and that's a byproduct of the sugar being turned into alcohol. CO2 is a byproduct. That takes the volatile flavors and it blows them off from the wine. So the cooler that you ferment it, the slower. And sometimes our fermentations can last 30 days. I mean,
Yeah.
it can be a real long process. And we just kind of
For
nurse
whites, we
it.
kind of want it to last 30 days. We're
Yeah.
trying to, do as slow of fermentation
We're
as
not in a
possible.
rush. We're making fine wines, so.
But we're excited for you guys to try this
Yeah.
and see kind of what we did with it.
Yeah, and discover it. And again, it's certified Lodi rules. All the wines we do at Oak Farm have this certification, so we're sustainable, and we are very proud about that. And cheers.
Cheers.
Try Sauv Blanc.